What's going on, everyone? This is Real Deal Sports. Your usual guys, we are missing our good brother Walter tonight, but he will be back for the next show. Well, we miss you, man. But we're gonna get into it, man. Show must go on. First topic over this week. I think one of the craziest trades that set off the whole NBA universe, Twitter universe, whatever sports show you watch, they've probably talked about it. The Ben Simmons and James Harden trade. John, what was your first reaction when you heard about it?
Uh, Not surprised at all. I was a little surprised they got James Harden, but when I saw how much they gave away to get him, not so much surprised. Um, like because I knew that I didn't know, but I mean I was quite positive that they were going to trade away Simmons, right? Just because of the year that Embiid is having, you can't just leave all that money going to one player who's sitting on a bench, because now you're not only wasting money but you're wasting a bench spot for a key player to come in and take. It's not just a random bench spot like that. For that kind of money you go out and get James Harden, right? So they had to make a move to, you can't leave Vincent Embiid stranded on a season like this. So that I'm not surprised. I was a little surprised they got Harden though. But man, they gave away, by the way, apparently they were trying to push to get Matisse Thybulle too, which thankfully they held on to. But
Yeah,
you need to play. Someone needs to play defense.
right.
So kudos to them getting it done. But it's interesting because what makes this fun is these teams might have to meet in the playoffs. Now, will they? I don't know. Both these teams could fall to one or two other teams in the East, or just, whatever, they just never meet, at some point. But if they both were to meet in the playoffs, it would make this very interesting. Kind of fun, almost must see, you know what I mean?
Right.
Depending on how the season starts to go. So, right off the bat, I'm not shocked that it happened, but, I was glad that they were able to make a move, a move that kind of works out for both teams, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I think Philly gave up a lot. They gave up a lot. You
I thought
gave
they
them
did.
you
I
gave
think
up
losing Seth Curry was big.
Ben, Seth, Drummond, and 2 first round picks. Like, that's a lot for James Harden. Like, come on, man. I would have eventually been like, look, dude, that's too much. I give you these 3 players, but I ain't giving you 2 first round picks. So now you in a win now situation, or
For sure.
you just better hope you trade well these next 2 years.
Yeah, cause you know, man, getting James Harden's big, but at the end of the day, right? He still never won a ring. He still never led a
Right.
team to a championship. So, you know, at the end of the day, right? There, even though as great as he is, you know what I mean? I was about to say like Aaron Rodgers, right? Like he's won a championship. No, 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 it's not a shot at him. I'm saying like
Oh, okay,
as
okay.
great as he
I was
is, as
about to
great
say,
as he is,
boy.
like he's got you know one ring under his belt, right? And like kind of like Harden, man, like he's one of the most dominant offensive players in this league. But
Hmm.
at the same time, like if the whole team don't come together at the right time, or even if he has some bad streaks and slumps, it just all that potential and stuff. Man, I mean, I think about it all the time. I truly believe in my heart that he'd have a ring, right? If Chris Paul doesn't get hurt that one year, but
True.
that's part of the game, and so something like that happens, and but we'll see. Is he a leader? We'll find out, right? Maybe Embiid is the leader on this team. I believe he is, but Harden needs to have some sort of leadership abilities, and take some of the role on himself, and he's got to put away a series or two. You know what I mean? By himself, he's got to have games where he takes over and does his thing. But can he do it? We'll see. But I'm excited to see if these two match up, man. That would be really fun to see.
It would be interesting. but I would give skill position wise, I would give it like the 1 of 4. I would give it to Brooklyn, but Embiid, him guarding Drummond or however that would happen, I would give that to the Sixers. But yeah, it would make a for a great series, I believe, because now it's pretty much both teams having to face their fears, so to say. Like Brooklyn, Philly play Brooklyn. Ben Simmons on the court. They're gonna try to make him a shooter. Because I mean, who knows you better than your last team?
Yeah,
They know that's not a strong area of yours. They're gonna try to make you do more of that.
but
And
that's
vice.
why getting Seth Curry was big because now they can space out the floor for him. You know what I mean? So he can do the Embiid, the Giannis slash, right, where you back, you get you get to the top of the three, back up 3 dribbles, and then just full steam ahead into the paint. And then if he can pass, so worst case scenario, you got KD and Seth on the corners, and of course there's several other players on Brooklyn who can shoot too. So
Yeah,
you got Joe Harris, so man, you're full of shooters,
Patty
man. So
Mills.
losing Seth Curry was I didn't like that part. We're talking about the most accurate 3-point shooter in NBA history, right?
True.
Like, so that's tough, man. I mean, because Steve Kerr, man, he had those big moments, right? He was the previous most accurate shooter of all time. Like, you can think all day, like you're just losing a shooter or whatever, but when you're the most accurate shooter of all
Mm,
time, he's gonna have big moments, and you're gonna come back to regret losing him.
yeah. Now, do you think, not comparing him to this Hall of Famer I'm about to say, but do you think he will be more like a Magic Johnson kind of role? Just let him facilitate and, dish it out as Ben Simmons I'm talking about? Or how do you think they will play him?
So they were able to get a big in this draft as well, right? So in this
Mm,
trade. So they get Drummond or yeah, they
Drummond,
got
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they got Drummond. Yeah.
So if these, let's just pretend these guys are on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
If Ben Simmons slashes, you almost have to guard him 1-on-1. You can't have help come to the basket because if help comes to help, he's just gonna loft it and boom, Drummond
Mm-hmm.
slam. If
True.
or he kicks it out to Seth or KD on the corners and it's a
Mm,
three. And by the way, you can't even come in a little bit because if you step off Seth or KD even a little bit, they're gonna hit it. They can pull up for 3, 4, 5, 10 feet outside the three.
right.
So it's not a terrible trade. Like and also you have to understand like Simmons is healthy. And
Mm-hmm.
people, you think, well, what about rust? Listen, you can't get a jump shot rusty if you never had it. So the guy's fine. Like he's fine. I mean, his jump shot is gonna be all right. It never was there,
Mm-hmm.
so it didn't get rusty.
Right.
Everything else, what do you think? You forgot how to pass? You think you forgot how to dribble? No, that's all
Mm-hmm.
stuff you can do anytime. I don't think that's rusty. So Harden has played 44 games to this point, right?
True.
So one team is getting a guy who's played almost every single game, and the other team is getting a guy who's quite healthy. I think Brooklyn came out pretty good in this trade.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. Same thing. Pretty much the same way you said he should play. I agree. I don't. I think I don't see why he can't average 10 points, 10 assists a game. Just
Oh yeah, the only reason I don't think that will happen is because I do believe that with a KD run offense, I believe there is a lot more ball movement. Right, it has to touch
Mhm.
KD's hands at least 2 times during any possession. You know what I mean? Like at least once, but maybe twice. You know what I mean? So it's if KD passes it, you can almost bet that at some point during the possession, it's going to come back to him, or else you're the next shooter. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it. That's what was great about Golden State, right? Is like there were games where you'd have 5 guys with 5 assists, right? Westbrook never averaged double-digit assists when KD was there. I mean, KD gets his own 5. He's like Kobe, right? People think he doesn't pass, but he does, man. The both of them average like 5 assists. So I don't know if he's going to be getting 10 every game, but if there's blowouts, yeah, I can see Ben Simmons chasing his triple doubles and them helping him get them.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But, like I say, man, with Philly, they just gave up a lot. And like when you make a trade like that, it's all in. It's like, look, this is championship or bust now.
I know who it reminds me of. Rajon Rondo with the Celtics. That's what it reminds me of.
What, Ben Simmons to
Yeah.
Brooklyn? It could. It could. I can see that.
I
I
mean,
can.
like I said, yeah, I don't, maybe not 10 every game, but maybe average 10, but I could see a 20 assist game sometimes, and then an 8, and then a 15. I could see some big games coming out of this.
Yeah. And I think and I think they match up well with Milwaukee as far as size. You know, I think, of course Ben would probably guard Giannis. KD probably on Middleton 9 times out of 10. And I think the only, I don't know how they would play it. Like, would you play a Kyrie, KD, Simmons, Blake Griffin, Drummond just to match the size and the strength? I don't know how they
Right,
would.
that's right. After all these pieces, and then because here's the thing, man, if they can keep these guys now, right? It's like normally if you have a team like this, if you have Ben Simmons, KD, um, who Blake Griffin, Drummond, Tobias Harris, you usually gave away the farm to get them.
True.
Instead, these guys now have 2 first-round picks coming their way, so they're good. Like they're good for the next couple of years. I mean, they don't even have to. It's all they definitely. I give them a slight advantage because at the end of the day, I would rather a guy like Harden who shoots my team out of the playoffs than a guy like Ben Simmons who is afraid to shoot when he needs to during the playoffs. But at the same time, like I give them a slight advantage just because, man, like Philly, trust the process. Like, listen, at this point, it's trust Embiid. Like we went all in, went all in on Embiid. I like that call, I do. But if he doesn't get it done, you're shot, man. They're shot, and because this is a guy who can't stay healthy. Remember.
Yeah.
And so, and I hope he does, man. I really hope he stays healthy. I hate to see these guys get hurt, but he hasn't proven that he could stay healthy for a full season. And the one season he did play a full season, he looked gassed in the playoffs. I mean, gassed.
He
So,
did. He did.
we'll see. But they went all in, so they had. Yeah, I agree. Like they do have to win soon.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give a slight advantage to the Nets on this one. What about you?
Same thing. I agree.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you still you now. I think the thing about Philly, you have the scores, but you can't stop nobody. You can't
And
stop.
that's why keeping Matisse Thybulle was so important. Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe when I heard he was part of the trade at first. I was like,
Yeah.
whoever shut that down was like, should win. Should get a GM spot in next year.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it seems something that should be obvious, but apparently it wasn't. It ran by a couple people, and they were like, "Yeah, we can trade him away." And they
Yeah.
finally were able to.
So
But yeah,
I think like you say, I mean, James Harden is one of those guys that has, shot his team out of the playoffs. Does that change in Philly? We're gonna see. But I think time will tell. It'll be interesting to see how this team looks in a month after All Star break and all of that. And whoever makes it further in the playoffs, I guess, will prove who won that trade or not.
yeah, I
So
remember when Chris Paul left to go to Houston. I wish he would have won that ring because, like, and stayed healthy because, to me, I believe he's a top 5 point guard of all time.
mhm.
But that lack of a ring, like a lot of people wouldn't believe. And the way that Rockets thing went down, man, like listen, they would have taken down the Warriors. And I'm talking about with KD. Like, right, no one beat the Warriors with KD.
I had him on the ropes.
They were up 3-1, and they would definitely would have cleaned them if he hadn't got hurt. But but then people still didn't believe whatever. And then he goes to Phoenix. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a huge Devin Booker fan, but man, when you see a guy like James Harden and Devin Booker go from 30, 40 win teams to 60 win teams, we're not talking about 51, 55, 60 win teams, man.
Yeah,
Like, you have to acknowledge the Chris Paul factor. Like, they were like, well, he had a big three in the Clippers. Like, I'm sorry, his big three was Blake Griffin and Drummond, or Jordan, DeAndre Jordan. Like, I love those two players. I'm a big fan of Blake Griffin, OU baby, all the way. But when we think about big threes now, looking back on their careers, we would never be like, oh yeah, Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan were big three. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't consider them, top notch, like Kevin
true,
Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen. You know what I mean? You wouldn't. That's a big three. So
true.
when you think about big threes, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, you don't say Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. You just don't. So he got a lot, man. They won 50 years every time he was out in the Clippers, 50 games a year every time he was with the Clippers. Like, and he didn't get enough credit for it. So, and I always regret that he didn't win that championship, but kudos to what he's doing again, man. I mean, people talk about how, LeBron doing and how at his age and all that stuff. Like, Chris Paul, I know he came in the league later, but he's only a year behind LeBron. Like, and he's doing
Yeah,
amazing things again. I mean, he has pretty much the same numbers as Steve Nash when he won an MVP.
yeah.
Steve Nash was
I
averaging
agree.
about 15, 11, and 3. I think Paul has about 15, 10, and 5. So
Yeah,
I'm not saying those are MVP numbers, but those were the numbers when Steve Nash won MVP. So I think you got to, you know, put that in perspective.
right. 100%. So, with the big game coming up this week, Super Bowl predictions.
I'm only here so I don't get fined, baby.
Hey, ain't nobody gonna find you. I mean, I just dock your pay, but I'm just
I'm sitting in this couch, man, and it's weird, man. Like, I'm sinking down into this
look
couch.
looks comfortable.
I'm at the in-laws in St. Louis right now. We
Okay,
don't actually acknowledge. They don't talk about the Rams here though. It's like it's like Harry Potter fans don't say Voldemort is. They don't talk about the Rams here.
is
So
that a sore spot for them?
uh, only if they win. Yeah, they get excited here when the Rams lose Super Bowls. So yeah,
Wow,
we were never Brady fans, but they all became Brady fans last time he whooped them.
wow, that's not right. But hey, it is what it is. You're entitled to feel however you want to feel. So
Yeah,
who?
that's like it's funny because like they talk like the city sued the Rams, right, and
Yeah, I
won.
remember
Won
seeing
like
that.
$700-800 million, and people here were excited. I'm like, we're not getting that money, right? Like it's not like you
Right.
get 500, you get. It's like when they say like the city sued them, like what? The city didn't buy jerseys. The city didn't fill them seats. Like
Right.
we did that. Like
Yeah.
where's our refund? Like no, I should get like 500 back from that, but who knows? They said he probably already spent all that money already, so whatever.
You know what's funny though? That I wish I could have went to a St. Louis Rams game. Now that I
Yeah.
think about it, that probably is a great atmosphere.
Oh, the atmosphere, yeah. The stadium is one of the worst, probably one of the
I
most
mean,
decrepit stadiums in the league.
still now.
Yeah, Marshall Falk said it feels like he said when he saw the stadium last, he felt like it was still the 90s or something. It's pretty bad.
Dang, for real?
It's just it never was updated, renovated, nothing. It's the same stadium that's always been, since they built it back in like 95 or whatever year, I forget.
Wow. Yeah. Well, who you got? Who you got, man? Who's your choice for the
Listen, I have been
Heisman
conservative.
Trophy?
I've been conservative with my scores for too long. 27, 24, and 31, 27. Nah, I'm going all in. Big win. Normally, if there's a blowout Super Bowl, they come back with a close one. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the last one was a blowout with 31-9. I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna go 34-19
Rams?
Cincinnati.
What?
Yeah,
34-9.
I'm gonna call a weird score. I think there's gonna be like
That
four.
that is very weird.
I think Gabe's gonna
34-9.
have like 4 field goals, and the Rams score 1 touchdown. Maybe OBJ gets it, maybe Cup, but either way, I'm gonna give them. Who knows? Maybe they have no passing touchdowns, a rushing one, and then 4 field goals. But I'm gonna go all in on Bengals. I'm done. I'm done not picking the Bengals. That's all I'm gonna say. I picked them to beat the Titans. I did. Oh, I just hit the computer. I did pick them to beat Titans, but I didn't predict. I didn't predict Patrick Mahomes having a LeBron uh, versus Mavs meltdown right in the second half.
Boy,
So it's a good thing Walt's not here.
boy, you rough. That's all I say. You rough.
So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go back in on the Bengals because a lot of people, a lot of people I don't, no one picked them to beat the Titans that I know, but I picked them to beat the Titans, and I was right, and I felt good about myself. And then I didn't count them out. I just didn't count Patrick Mahomes doing whatever that was. So,
The game.
so I'm gonna go back in on them. I said, listen, whatever this talent / luck series they got going on, I'm gonna say it keeps it rolling, and especially because I'm in St. Louis, I'm not gonna predict the Rams win here. I'll get thrown out the house tomorrow.
Yeah, but no, you might get thrown out tonight. So I was just hey, can you pick me up? Pick you
Now,
up.
now,
Where?
back to everything I've said about the Rams up to this point. On paper, I don't see how anyone can beat the Rams. I mean, this team has the talent level of the Broncos when they carried Peyton Manning, the talent level of the Eagles when they carried Carson Wentz and then Nick Foles. But they also have a quarterback, unlike the year the Broncos had Peyton Manning. So,
I mean, they had a quarterback. He was just a little old.
yeah, I mean, a quarterback with a broken neck. I mean, so I'm just glad. I'm glad Peyton Manning was able to retire alive, upright, and be able to do his thing now.
He retired like he should have. Right.
No, he should have retired a year earlier, but
no, he did it right. He got that Super Bowl and he got the hell up
he
out of
did not get that Super Bowl. They could have rolled you out in a wheelchair and you would have won that Super Bowl. That was one of the worst quarterback performances I've ever seen.
I swear, you're the worst.
It was terrible. It was Ben Roethlisberger-esque in the Super Bowl. I mean, it was horrible. It was one of the worst.
You think it was that bad?
Hey, it had like 150 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Like, come on, man. Trent Dilfer was better than that.
I hear you, but you gotta relax, man. Peyton tried, okay?
It was bordering on John Elway Super Bowl performances.
What? Boy, you rough.
No, go look at his stats, man. I don't know what this is, like where we think like John Elway just torched these Super Bowls. Like, he had 5 Super Bowls. In his 5 Super Bowls, he had 3 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Like,
all right. So look, here's the box.
50% of his passes. Like, it ain't like he was balling out there.
Here's the box score. Peyton Manning was 13 for 23, 141 yards, and 1 interception. He was sacked 5 times.
So not even a touchdown?
He was sacked 5 times for a QBR of 8.6. Yeah,
jeez.
And then CJ Anderson pretty much won the game. 23 carries, 90 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yeah, people forget how good that team could run. Like, they had a 2 running back set that compared to, remember the Colts when Peyton Manning finally won his with Joseph Adai and what's the other guy? I hate to take credit away from him because he was a good running back too, but they had a 2 running back set that was amazing. That's what Denver had that year, man. They had a great 2 running back set that I think they easily hit over 2,000 yards together that year, the 2 of them.
Yeah, but you still rough. I ain't like, bro. You say he was terrible. I mean, he wasn't that good, but like, God,
I'm just saying, if Cam Newton were on the Broncos that night, that game would have been 43-8, like the Seahawks did to them. They would have run them over. The Broncos were a better team.
I can hear
Because
that.
that thing is because Peyton Manning was on that team will never get the credit they deserve for how good they were. Like that team was good. Like that Broncos team was balling that year.
So
Everybody on the defense, the offense.
was Peyton Manning on that Broncos team? Trent Dilfer to the 0-1 Ravens.
I mean, Peyton Manning did his. So Peyton Manning did his job the years leading up to that. Like I remember he had a 55
Okay.
touchdown,
When he first got
5,000.
there, yeah.
Yeah, but listen, the guy was playing with pretty much a broken neck. Like they talk about all the time during the games. Like, man, if this guy takes one bad hit, like he might never walk again. Like that was a real thing. Like they were talking about that year.
He Kurt Angle, broken freaking neck.
And the Broncos started out that season, I think like 7-0, 7-1. And during that run, he led the league in interceptions. Like it was bad. At one point, he got benched. Like Peyton Manning, people forget Peyton Manning got
Brock
benched.
Osweiler or something like that. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
that.
for like 4 or 5 games, he got maybe 3. I don't know, but he got benched for like 2 or 3 games, like 3 or 4 games. Like he was bad, and that's not a shot at him. He clearly was injured, but it also shows how good that team was. Like this is a team that Tim Tebow was throwing sidearm the year before and went to the playoffs and beat the Steelers. Like that team was really good. Like I don't think they get enough credit for how much talent was on that team. So all that to say, that's what the Rams look like now, except their quarterback is upright. And so on paper, man, I don't see how anyone beats the Rams. I really don't. But
I can't believe he mentioned Tim Tebow.
But
well, we're not gonna get into that.
But listen, if you look up "cool" in the dictionary, it's a picture of Joe Montana, and if you look closer, he's holding up a picture in that picture of Joe Burrow. Like this dude is, they're just that cool, man. Like him and Jamar Chase are just they're gonna be future faces of this league. I got him rolling all the way, 34-19.
Wait, what score?
34-19.
You just said 31-19. What's the score, man?
No, 34. I said 34. I'm pretty positive I said 34. You might be right.
And who is your Super Bowl MVP?
Only because it's that high scoring, I'm going to give it to Joe Burrow, right? If it were low scoring, I wouldn't. But anytime a game is that high scoring, I'm assuming he had something to do with it. The guy averages about 35, 36, higher of 36 passes per game. So I'm assuming they're not going to veer from that. So I assume they're just by default, quarterback wins it in those situations, unless Jamar Chase has a 200-yard game with maybe a pair of touchdowns. But I'm not predicting that, even though I think he could. So I'm gonna give it to Burrow by a hair over Jamar, by a hair.
I'm gonna say Rams. 20. I say 31-21. Rams. I think they seal the deal by walk-off interception.
Saints over Colts style.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in a way. Yeah. And I have a feeling.
Actually, almost Seahawks Patriots too.
True. Very true. And I have a feeling that the stars of the game, one of them are going to get MVP. I say either Aaron Donald or Jalen Ramsey.
That'd be awesome.
I think it's going to be tight. I think the game is going to be tight. It's going to be very nip and tuck, back and forth. You score, I score. You score, I score. I don't score, I kick a field goal. They have the ball. I feel like Joe Burrow going to try to hit Jamar on a quick out. And Jalen going, I'll take that and seal the deal.
That's one of the reasons Joe Burrow, I believe, will always be successful if he keeps this same mindset and never, because no matter how many times, listen, you can tell me all day that Cincinnati shut down Tyreek in the second half. It doesn't matter. If you don't throw to your guy, you can't tell me they shut him down. You have to at least give your guy a shot. Patrick Mahomes never gave
Well,
Tyreek a shot.
even when he gave him a shot, it was a bad throw. You threw it to my man in double coverage. Like, come on, bro.
But I'm just
He's
saying he
only
threw it to him twice this whole
he's
second
only
half.
5'9". Like, he's not
You,
winning
you
a jump
but
ball.
you threw it twice to him in the second half. Like, I'm sorry, if he's your best player, you got to believe in him. That's why he's so great.
Well, no. You believe in him on a quick slant, not downfield for a jump ball. He's already undersized. I can see if it's Travis.
I'm not talking about a specific play. I'm talking
Oh,
about for an entire second half, you gave a
yeah.
guy one pass per quarter. So that's one thing the Bengals will not do. Listen, if the Rams are going to beat them, Jalen Ramsey is going to have to tip balls, intercept balls, because they're going to keep targeting him all night. They're not going to not throw it to Jamar. Listen, if Ramsey picks him off in the first quarter, they're still going to keep targeting Jamar all night. Like, you have to beat me every single play, because they're going to come to me 10, 12 times tonight. I think Jamar could maybe get 15 targets tomorrow. And probably, and because of his talent level, maybe catch 8 or 9 of them, just because I think at some point the Rams are going to have to double team him every single play. But I'd say he gets easy 14, 15 balls tomorrow night thrown his way.
I feel like T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd are gonna have big games because the attention is gonna be so much on Jamar and Mixon. It's I think they're gonna have to come up big for them to have any chance in this game.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mixon had a big game too. Maybe 132 yards, 20 carries.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
if they can't stop him, I could see him going back to the well there too. Like, just keep getting whatever they
the
can.
thing is, the Rams' defense has been very solid, run defense. I don't think in the playoffs, I don't think anyone has had more than 50 yards. We'll look that stat up, and we'll talk about it on the next show. But I don't think they've allowed one guy to get more than 50 yards. So
I got 34-19, and you have 31. I have Bengals, and you have 31-21 Rams. That was my prediction for the Chiefs over Bengals was 31-21, I believe.
they could have had.
I'm gonna go bigger. I'm gonna say 15-point score difference. I don't know where I'm pulling this out of, but I'm just gonna say it.
Hey,
it's not based on anything.
Right. Hey, it is what it is. You never know, man. Super Bowl is the one game where the most unlikely heroes, come alive. People you ain't never heard, like Malcolm Butler, for instance. What did he?
Well, hang on now. Malcolm Butler was a beast, though.
But you didn't hear about him before that game,
right? And you know what? And you know what was messed up about the Eagles game was that, and we'll never get an answer about it. But one reason that makes everything look funky and fishy is why was Malcolm Butler not playing the Eagles Super Bowl? This man, people forget, this man led the league in tackles by a cornerback. Do you know he's the only cornerback in like the last 20 years to have over 100 tackles in a season? He's only like the second one to do it. So, I mean, this dude was a beast.
You gotta ask
during the Super Bowl. Man, a lot of people will always look at that like, what was the point of this? What? That's off. Something funny about that, but whatever was going on with Belichick's head that day. But especially when a dude just dropped 30, 30 and then starts hitting 40, like at some point, like what, you still not pull him out? Like, are you that proud that you can't admit you were wrong? That even when a guy hung 40 on you, you still leave your best player on the best corner on the bench. Kudos to Malcolm Butler, what he did with his career. And Belichick deserves to lose because of that.
True. And yeah, man, it's gonna.
And by the way, kudos to Aaron Rodgers winning his 4th MVP, only the second person to ever do it. Behind.
You got to get another ring though, because that looks bad. You got all these dang on MVPs with only one ring. You got to at least be like 2 and 4.
I don't think he has to get another ring. I think he has to go to another Super Bowl.
No, you got to win. You got to win.
Because listen, Peyton won one. Peyton won one, and he got carried to a second one.
He got two. He got two.
Okay, fine. Well, Adam Vinatieri has 3 or 4 then. Like, but
He do. Look,
no, I
hey,
agree. I agree. He
one of the
won all
best
his
people
fair quick.
ever.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't think Super Bowls win. But the inability to make it to listen. Aaron Rodgers is 11-9 in the playoffs. 11-9. Like, that's not good. And the thing is, if you count out that Super Bowl
And
season,
he's
which
lost.
you
He's
can't
lost
count out the Super
two
Bowl
games
season,
at home.
but
His
those
last
3
two losses have been at home.
no, when they won, they were a wild card team.
Yeah, they
So
played
that was
every game
4
on the road.
wins. So other than that year, he is 7-9 in the playoffs outside that Super Bowl run.
Maybe he plays better on the road.
He's usually the home team. I mean, he's the home team this year. And
But you've seen him lose the last 2 times.
Garoppolo has never played in weather under 38 degrees, and it's going to be like -15. All right, well, now we're going to talk about this dude just, now again, Garoppolo didn't exactly ball out, but still.
But they said teams from California, when they go to Green Bay, are usually like 3-12. And usually when they put those stats up or they make that comment, it usually goes the opposite direction. He's never missed a field goal in his life, and then he misses the game winner. Like,
I mean, Aaron Rodgers was a Cali boy, so he went out there and balled his whole life. So I clearly don't matter. Those are fake stats. Like they're real stats, but at the end of the day, they don't matter going into the next game. The next game is a new game. Everything's fresh. It's 0-0. You had to go out and make 2 touchdowns, and you couldn't do it. But kudos to him winning the 4th, man. That's awesome.
yeah,
only the second person to do it.
So that is it for us, you great people. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being our subscribers. When you get this video, when you see it, you look at it, like, share, subscribe, send all to your friends and family, and come on back. Come talk to us. Let us know if you got a topic you would like us to hit on. If you like us,
and we are going to do that too. We were going to do a special.
No, don't let the cat out the bag. We just
I'm saying we were going to do we. No, but that's what I'm saying. We will do videos for the people who ask for them. We would definitely do that. So,
yeah.
So we were gonna do that today. We weren't able to, but go enjoy the Super Bowl. Thank you for our 23 subscribers. Come back, stay healthy. Come back and watch us on the next one. We put videos out.
You gotta help us
every Saturday and Wednesday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you all on the next one.